My mom and dad were kind of like, as soon as you're 18, you either go to college or you get to work, and you put your head down and you just get to work. My mind and my persona started realizing, well, dreams are fake. Like, that's not real. Going for what you really want is not true. So just start doing what your parents told you, which is just work and try to make some money and be successful by reaching certain plateaus, your house, your car, or marriage, whatever. I realized later in life, as I've been going through a healing journey, I definitely want to put stuff out there to help people say, hey, you know what? I know what it feels like to have dreams shattered, but I like the fact that I can start believing again. Even if you're 30, 40, 50 years old, like, it's never too late to dream.
This is Andro Mammo. Thank you for listening and watching another episode of One on One. This is a conversation that I'm very excited about. I've known this man for years. He is the host of the Mac Effect podcast. Today, I'm going one-on-one with Mike Campos. How are you?
Yeah. What's up, man? I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This is special.
Definitely is. It definitely is.
We've been talking about this, I want to say, coming on a few months.
Yeah.
And we're here.
Yeah. It's crazy even hearing you do the introduction, saying, the host of the Mac Effect, because I've shared with you that's my dream. It's still surreal for me. So I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm enjoying it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, being on that journey with you has been it's been really rewarding and just very special for me. And I think on the converse, like you'll realize in this conversation, but you've played a big role in this podcast too.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to explain or share, but you definitely did your part to light a fire in me to push it. So thank you for that. And I'll share a little bit more right now if we get to it or whatever. But yeah, man, thanks for that.
Oh, of course. So I think it's really important, first of all, let's get to know Mike. What was your childhood like?
Yeah. And that's one that I'm working on still, because even on the first season on the Mac Effect, I tried to explain a little bit about my background and ethnicity and stuff. And it was tough to kind of like say, oh, yeah, like this is your biography, like of who you were. But
yeah,
raised in Compton, my school district was in Paramount. So anyone out there from Compton, Paramount, shout out. But yeah, two Hispanic parents, both of them from Zacatecas. They came illegally to the States, but they started their family over here. 26 years in Compton, but then I got married to Jackie. We moved to Whittier when we got married. And then a couple years later, people found out we had some turmoil that happened between me and her. And then 3 years later, God said, I'm going to try to restore you guys. And now we're out in Yorba Linda, which is Orange County, but we really love it there. We've been there for about almost 5 years, and it's been pretty cool.
The awesome thing, just hearing you talk about your childhood, your life, it's a beautiful journey that's led you here.
It's been ups and downs, but you know what, dude? I do thank God for it, because it's kind of made me who I am today.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been someone that would have been okay with growth and development if I would have never had trials and tribulations. They pushed me to have to learn and grow. So it was pretty awesome.
How do you think that the environment that you grew up in Compton shaped you?
Oh, man. Well, it shaped me in many ways. One is, and the first one that I continue to struggle with till today, is a poverty mindset, to be honest. I seen a lot of family members around me, in particular cousin of mine. He would always have like the newest like Sega Genesis or Dreamcast and Nintendo 64s. And I was always one system behind. And it would make me start questioning, like, how come we don't have it, but they do?
Right.
It does start forming your poverty mindset, which then you meet Jackie. And not that I want to say, she thinks money grows on trees, because she also grew up with humble beginnings, but she does know how to bless and give and just take steps of faith. And I don't. So, that's a little struggle there, but that's how that molded me there. And then, of course, growing up, going to school, Paramount High School, felt a little left out, because me being from Compton and everyone being from Paramount, It was kind of like, well, I'm the odd one out because everyone's from this zip code, not from this zip code. But it was complicated, man,
Yeah.
because even my mom and my dad were like, well, we don't want to send you to the Compton school district. The least we can do, which is bump you up a little bit better, is send you to the Paramount district. So I get it. They try their best. Obviously, there's a lot more, but those are key factors of molding
Yeah.
me.
I think it's important. So you mentioned that the Mac effect has been your dream for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, from Mike being a kid to Mike right now, how has that dream evolved? Like, was that always your dream as a kid to kind of like go into this and talk about your experiences and help others through your conversations? Or was that something that you kind of realized later on in life?
I realized later in life, as I've been going through a healing journey, that the Mac effect was something that's in my dreams. To be honest, in the society that I was raised, but it's because I don't blame like my mom or dad. I just know that was the upbringing that they had as well. My mom and dad were kind of like, as soon as you're 18, you either go to college or you get to work, and you put your head down and you just get to work. Like, what are you talking about? Dreams, and this is what you want to go for. Nope. Just make a living and be successful.
Yeah.
So for me as a kid, honestly, like I loved basketball. Like that was my dream. And what ended up happening was my dream was shattered, to be honest with you.
Wow.
In the sense of like I wanted to at least be like in a basketball league, but my parents didn't have time to put me in a basketball league. So then my mind and my persona started realizing, well, dreams are fake. Like that's not real. Going for what you really want is not true. So just start doing what your parents told you, which is just work and try to make some money and be successful by reaching certain plateaus, your house, your car, or marriage, whatever, right? So through recent healing, that's when dreams have been able to kind of been born again, and they've been scary. That's why the Mac effect, it took me 5 years or a little bit more to bring it out to life, because I was battling the inner child that was like, no, remember, dreams do not come true.
Wow.
So the Mac effect, and I almost want to cry right now as I say it, is genuinely a dream of mine that has done a lot of healing to me. So yeah, it's crazy.
You say that it's healing you, but the truth is, like, I hope you realize that the conversations that you're having and the vulnerability that you're sharing is helping other people heal too.
Yeah.
And I think that's powerful.
Well, because I've seen the power of healing. It's almost like the gospel. It's almost like, the word of God. It's like I want to share it to people. And because I've healed, I also want to share it to people. So that's why I created it. And we'll see what it evolves to. But I definitely want to put stuff out there to help people say, hey, you know what? I know what it feels like to have dreams shattered. But I like the fact that I can start believing again. Even if you're 30, 40, 50 years old, like it's never too late to dream.
Amen to that one.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, seriously, say it again.
Yeah, it's never too late to dream. And I thought so. Like I thought, my time has passed. Like now it's my turn to have my kids dream and help them. And God's like, I'm not done with you.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up God. I wanted to know, what is your earliest memory with God?
Mm. Well, my mother was pregnant with me when she accepted Jesus in her heart. So I grew up in church, but I grew up in a household where it was a little bit combative because my dad and my mom would fight over religion because my dad's Catholic and my mom's Christian. So it eventually became a hostile environment.
Wow.
And it was tough because it's like you want to please your dad, but you want to please your mom. And then at a certain age, when you're like 13, 14, you really do start thinking like you know it all. So then I'm like, I don't want anything with religion. So as soon as I turned 18 and I started driving, I'm like, peace out to the church. And then I had my heart broken at that time. And my cousins were actually going to a Christian church, which they had never gone to a church before. And I said, well, I'm going to start going to church only because I want to hang out with my cousins.
Wow.
And this was like around 19 years old. So only like a year where I was like away from God, really. I would hang out with my cousins, but then I would hear the preacher. And then I'm like, wait a second. Like, I would look at my tia like, you told him something about my life, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's saying some things that are really hitting me. Like, that's how I genuinely feel. And then little by little, God just started tugging. So my earliest that I remember for myself was like around 19, where God started just knocking on my heart.
And in that year that you weren't in the church, I want to know what's something that you learned about yourself in that time.
What I learned about myself at that time, honestly, I've never done drugs. I've never done weed, none of that. I've been drunk one time in my entire life. That was a time that I did it when I was away from God. And the hangover is so dumb that I told myself, if this is what being cool is, I don't ever want to drink again. This is stupid.
Yeah.
I was kind of exploring. So I don't know if I really learned anything, but I was definitely exploring. I'm just grateful that eventually God kept knocking on my heart because I love the fact feeling loved by someone and knowing that there's an exceptional, unexplainable power out there that takes the time to notice you. Like, that's what really touches me. So
It's profound.
I was lost, and I'm just glad that I'm found.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think that that year that you weren't in the church was like one of the most defining years of your life?
If you would have asked me, at that time, I would have been like, no. But you're asking me now. I think absolutely, it's those pivotal years. You're 18. Try telling an 18-year-old, don't do this, don't do that.
It's tough.
And they're going to be like, it doesn't make sense. Why is it such a big deal? Like, just let me do it. Let me be me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that, I was never like a crazy kid. So I didn't do anything dumb. I was just lost.
From that, and then I want to kind of transition to when you met Jackie.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, when I met Jackie, that was 2010, 2011, around there. I was going to church consistently. I was actually serving in the kids ministry. I had seen her in church in and out because the church that I would go to, it was the one where her uncle preaches. That's where my aunt was going with my cousins. So I didn't even know it was them or it was him. And I didn't know much about like the Rivera family, to be honest with you. I mean, you would hear the music, but I didn't know he had a church or anything like that. So after a while, I found out, oh, it's their church. So I would see Jackie show up. I would see my suegra show up and other family members, what have you. But I was serving in the kids ministry. And there was a guest speaker that day. I was teaching the kids and I left. I ran because I felt something tell me, go to the main service and try to receive something that God has for you. And as I was going, man, God's actually speaking to me right now because what you were about to receive was going to be your wife. I was running up the stairs and Jackie was coming out. And that's where me and Jackie hit. And we're like, hey. And that's where it started.
Wow. And if I may ask you, in your opinion, was it love at first sight?
No, it was not love at first sight. I definitely thought she was very beautiful. I thought she was cute. I used the excuse of, because Mikey was going through a situation, a trial at that time, and I used the excuse like, hey, here's my number, give it to Mikey. But I was genuinely being honest, like, you could give it to Mikey because if Mikey needed help, I'm more than happy to talk to him. And then she texted me right there and then on the spot. She's like, I don't know what she put, like, hey or something, right? And she's like, oh, I just wanted to make sure, this is your number. And then that's where it started little by little, something building between us. That's where we just started talking.
And then how did that progress? Like, would you just kind of like keep hitting her up, keep seeing her at church?
No, see, so it's a long, delicate story. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Where me and Jackie are in the midst of sharing through the Mac effect. I have a past that, like everyone, right? We have issues and things that we have made that were probably wrong. It's kind of delicate, but long story short, I was like, I just don't want to be misconstrued or just, I don't want anything. But I can see that Jackie did want to talk, right? I always tell her, I'm like, you pursued me for about 3 months. And then after 3 months, I said, okay, like, you like me, then let's go for it, because I genuinely did think she was beautiful. Right. And when you get to meet her heart and see who she is, it's almost hard not to like that person, right? So I'm like, all right, let's let this friendship blossom. Then she would text me, and then I for about 3 months, and I would let her be the first one. Not that I didn't want to, I didn't want to cross a boundary. So she would reach out, and then after 3 months, she like kind of convinced me to be like, just let's do this. And then when I wanted to, she was like, let's stop talking now.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, oh no, like now you convinced me, and now you let me see your heart,
Mm-hmm.
or at least see what type of friend you are. Now I'm pursuing this. So I would randomly show up to her
Wow.
job after she told me like, we're gonna stop talking now. I would show up to her job, wait till she would clock out, and then hand her some flowers or something, and be like, hey, you're not gonna let go of me that easy.
Dang. Yo, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah,
That's nice. That's a nice story. And that progressed into such a beautiful relationship. And it's a relationship that I look at and I'm like, wow, like I eventually hope to have something like that.
yeah. Thank you.
But let's talk about marriage real quick. What is the biggest misconception about marriage?
Oh man. Well, I haven't mastered it, so I really can't say like this is the biggest misconception. But one thing I could tell you is what I've done wrong. And what I've done wrong is I thought marriage was like, okay, I'm gonna marry her. You kind of go into it thinking like how it's gonna benefit you. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
eventually we're married. We're in Christianity, right? So now it's like, heck yeah, now we can actually have intimacy without, people condemning us or telling us we're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you're thinking you on a house, car, hopefully I grow in my job. But what I realized in my second marriage, and I say second because I use the separation that we were in as the time that we got back together. That's my second marriage. I ended up learning that marriage is not about you. Marriage is about, are you ready to die to yourself so that
Wow.
everyone else in your family can have life? So there's a lot of moments where I'm like, I want this. And God tells me, well, it's not about you. It's how's that going to make Jackie feel? How's it
Mm-hmm.
going to make the kids? And then if it's okay with them, then, you can get blessed, and then you go
Yeah.
from there. So what I learned, I guess, is, how to die to self so that the family can live.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And you brought up the kids. I mean, in your opinion, what's the greatest thing about fatherhood?
Oh, man. In this world, we get so misconstrued, or the media and culture teaches us that fame and fortune is like the best thing out there.
Mm-hmm.
And little do you know, the best things out there are the ones that money can never buy. You can't buy love. You can't buy a family. You make these things, and
Mm-hmm.
it's free and accessible to everyone. I'm so grateful with God, like, and how amazing He does these things, like
Mm-hmm.
to the point where anyone could have it. Like, there's no only the rich can have, or only the poor can have.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can have this. And being a father, it's taken my love to another level. Like, I thought like it was just me and Jackie and Jayla, right? So then my heart's like, I can't love another kid. Then Genevieve comes, and it's like, oh man, my love just grew.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's pregnant again, Jordan. And I'm like, okay, 3 is a crowd. We're good. Like, and then God surprised us in our second marriage with
Mm-hmm.
JJ. And me and Jackie were like, I just don't think we can love another kid. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be too much. And God finds a way to expand that love again. And it's like, wow,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Wow. I'm genuinely curious because I met you as you were a father already, but what's the biggest difference between Mike before marriage, Mike before kids, and Mike sitting with me right now?
Uh, I think the biggest difference, and hands down, I always say to be honest, but I'm always honest. Like, I've learned to just genuinely like be blunt, because I feel like that's how people connect with people, when
Mhm.
they're just genuinely honest. But it's that I'm healthier now, and I'm healthier mentally, I'm healthier emotionally, and I'm trying to be healthier physically. I do, even though I am overweight right now, I'm not as bad as what I was in my first marriage. When me and Jackie first got married, like, I blew up. So I'm getting better at those things. And I think when you get healthier, even the stuff around you gets healthy. Like, Jackie gets healthier, the kids, even the way they communicate.
Mhm.
People tell me like, man, they speak like they're grown up sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm trying to give them what I didn't have, right? Like, I told my son the other day,
Mhm.
me as your dad, it is my job to give you all the help that I can so that you can make your dreams a reality. And I cried when I told him that. I cried. because that's something that I wish I would have heard from my dad.
Yeah.
And healing those things, God healing me, just really takes it to another level where it's like, hey, now we gotta not only help them achieve it, but their achievements eventually will become your achievements too, you know? So it's yeah.
Are you the kind of parent that tells your kids like, hey, like, do dream, like shoot for the stars?
Oh, yes, absolutely. If you would have asked the first Mike in my first marriage, no. I'm not. I'm gonna be honest, dude.
More like
Again,
realist kind of person.
the unhealthy Mike in the first marriage, like I would actually shatter their dreams, to be honest with you. That's the reason why Jackie at some point wanted to leave me, because I understand how suppressive I was being. Because the unhealthy Mike was like, well, I was never allowed to dream, so now you guys can't dream.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to be married to someone like that? So
No.
I went through situations like that, you know, in my brokenness when we were separated, where I'm like, no wonder she didn't want to be with me. I wouldn't want to be with me either.
Mm-hmm.
In that healing, now I'm like, no, guys, I want you to dream. I want you to believe. I even asked them, like, what's your interest? And we start pushing those interests. Like even with Jackie, I encourage her and I tell her, beautiful voice, you know what God has called you for. I'm excited for the album that's coming. The world needs to see this.
Yeah. No, and genuinely though, like if there is a parent that's watching this, like I think one of the best things, and obviously I'm not a parent, so I can't really like touch on certain things, but
But you will be one day.
hopefully, God willing. But if you're a parent, like let the kid dream and
Yeah.
let them have goals and let them, you know, let them try out the basketball team. Let them pick up a camera if that's what they want to do. Because I'll be so real with you. If my parents were to shut me down as a kid, this wouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
The 12 years that I've been interviewing wouldn't be possible. And it's really that like they were encouraging. They're like, if this is what you want to do,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me as a parent, absolutely. One of the things that I do, through the Mac effect, some fathers have reached out and I tell them, feed into their dreams and let them know you're proud.
Yeah.
Little do you know the sentence, I am proud of you,
Makes the biggest difference.
what that's going to cause in their heart. Because if they only hear everything that they're doing wrong, oh, you didn't clean up your room, you didn't listen to me again, you broke this, you did that. But you never find ways to be like, hey, you know what, dude? I was very proud of you. If you don't add those in there either, you're just breaking them.
And honestly, I feel like that's something that they'll hold on to for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. And if I may add as well, men, this is also something that we need to do in our marriages to our wives.
Yeah.
Tell them that you're proud of them, not just the kids. Because we sometimes focus the attention on the kids only, but your wife also needs to hear, I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Wow, that's so important. And I'm so glad that we mentioned that. Like that's big.
Right? It hit. Like you can spiritually feel it. Like, yeah, the kids are important, absolutely. But you like spiritually, you can feel the time that we're in. Marriages are going through big struggles. And when you hear someone stand up for a marriage and say that to your wife,
It's refreshing.
You feel it.
It's refreshing.
You feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the dreams and your dream, the Mac effect.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing to say. It's a reality now.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you?
Oh man. Well, Andrew, you were there. You were there the first time. I kept calling you and bugging you and saying, dude, I need you to come and help me. I need you to come and help me. I have some stuff. I don't know how to set it up correctly, but I need you to come and help me. You were there when you recorded me the first testers. I was almost crying after you left. I cried, bro. I cried.
Wow.
Because I'm fighting the inner child that said dreams do not come true. Wow. And mind you, I'm already living a dream. People can be like, well, how do you feel like dreams don't come true? Like you got your marriage back, you have an extra kid, the beautiful house that you're in. Yeah, but the inner child needed healing. Those are exterior things. Mike needed something that for myself, not just because the marriage is for me and Jackie. Right. My relationship with the kids is me and the kids. But for Mike himself, yeah, the Mac effect has really taken me to a place of really cool healing where I'm actually planning, dreaming, thinking of ideas. And I'm like, I cannot believe I'm actually doing this. And thank you for coming out and doing that, dude. You have no idea how much that blessed me, how much I needed that push. Jackie and the kids, this past year, I kept holding them accountable. Jayla, you're in volleyball. What are you going to do to get to the next level? Jackie, you want music. What are you going to do to the next level? I kept pushing them. And at some point, they were like, hey, Dad, you have all this stuff over there. You're just sitting on it. And that's when I'm like, okay, fine. And you wouldn't know this, but when I would text you, sometimes in the back of my head, I'm like, I hope he doesn't respond. I hope he doesn't respond. Because then it would hold me accountable where I'm like, darn it, he's going to come. Now I have to do it. But I needed that, dude. So thank you for that.
If I may ask you, what was the fear that was stopping you before like actually committing to this?
It's crazy because now that I'm healed, I can look back and be like, man, I was just stupid. Like I was really, really just stupid. But the reality was the fear of failure, the fear of something that I want to come to life, come to life.
Wow.
Which, it's your dream. It's what you really genuinely want. So, that fear of failure, dude, controls me. And I say controls me because even till today, there's certain things that I don't do because of fear. But through the Mac effect, now that it's came to life, I've come to the realization like, no, dude, I've seen what a victory looks like, when you do beat fear. Now I have a little bit of confidence of beating it again and making whatever else I'm dreaming come to reality. So,
wow. So does this experience with the Mac effect give you more confidence to try and reach other goals and dreams that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Goals that, again, you would ask me years back, I would say you're nuts. But like the Mac effect, I'm hoping it can grow to a place where, we can get not only sponsorships, but it can hopefully one day lead to a book that I can write. I say that now with so much confidence, and I thank God for the healing. But again, you would have asked me this a year ago,
That's crazy.
I would have never said what I just said right now.
Wow.
I would have held it in.
Yeah.
I would have been like, no, I'm just stupid for thinking those things.
Nope.
Crazy.
Then you want me to tell you something? You're going to write that book.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And I'll be one of the first people to read it and be like, dude, I'm fucking proud of you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you.
No, it's a really beautiful thing to be on this journey with you. And I think on the converse, like we mentioned at the beginning, but me helping you with your dream also played a huge role into me making this dream a reality for myself.
Yeah.
Just because I think, like you said, fear could be debilitating sometimes and fear could stop you. But I think it's really important to have people around you that believe in you. And I could say truthfully, like I felt that belief that you had in me from a really early age. And that's something I just wanted to say thank you for.
Yeah.
Just because the truth is that, there are so many people to thank, but you are one of them because you have encouraged me for years. And it's something that's like being where I am right now and being able to sit here with you and also witness your growth and the show. I can't tell you how much that's like. It makes me happy. Like it's a fulfilling feeling, but also it's like I know the work that you and I are doing right now, it's needed and it's beneficial and it's important to talk about these things.
I agree. We bring two different perspectives. I see your show. I see my show. My show's more like family. My show's more, grown men.
Yeah.
You're kind of the younger side. You're teaching the new generation that's coming up, believe, trust the process. Do not give up, even though sometimes the process can look like it's going to take forever.
There's so many factors, whether it be you overcoming your own inner dialogue or there's people that don't want you to win or, whatever.
Yep.
But I think the most important thing and the thing that I sit here and I think about all the time is I wonder how it would feel if I didn't do something.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, it's like, this show I'm so thankful for, but this, I had been sitting on it for a very long time. I had been sitting on it for months.
Yeah.
And it really took me sitting there being like, hey, like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
And you also realize that I believe at least that these conversations will help people and they'll motivate people. And what I've realized is that once we started posting these episodes, I'll be getting random messages from people that like I don't even know. And they're like, hey, that message helped me.
Yeah, that's good. That's the purpose.
That's why I'm doing this.
Yes, that's the purpose.
Yeah.
That's the reason. That's how good God is. It's like he didn't know you needed that push. I didn't know that you needed that push, but we kind of both push each other, which was awesome. And beyond that, it's like we are trying to put back into this world what I believe it desperately needs: positivity, love, encouragement. Man, you read comments, people say the harshest things to people.
Yeah.
Harshest. Like I see some stuff that they say to Jackie, to Cheekies, even to me, dude. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I don't know how old you are, whoever you are that's behind that screen, but you felt comfortable enough to say something like, eres un mandilón, mantenido, you shouldn't be happy with your life. Like, who has that in their heart? And you mentioned earlier too, like, even there's certain people that don't want you to succeed. Bro, me and Jackie in our marriage, since the day we said I do, we have had opposition. Till today, we still have opposition. And it's so draining because if me and Jackie don't find the time to connect, it eventually does seep in and cause friction. So, and that's a team thing, right?
Yeah.
So like for you got to find those moments too to build up with either mentors, friendships, because when those attacks come, you need those people to help you out so that you can keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Because
It's so important.
Because these people, dude, heartless, ruthless, they will not stop.
They will do anything to make sure that this doesn't succeed.
And
Which is crazy to say. Like, I just don't understand. Like,
would you ever live your life wanting to slow and stop someone down?
No. Like, I just don't like. I don't see how that, like,
It's crazy.
I really like will sit here sometimes and I'm like, I really just wonder like how does that even come in your mind?
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
how do you even sit there and like, even the fact of the matter, like you're sitting there writing out a negative comment, like are you not seeing what you're doing?
Yeah. Maybe my Mac effect took years for it to come out. Maybe I had the problem of fear, problem of self-confidence, but never did I ever, while I was going through those difficult times, did I say, let me make someone else's life miserable.
It's crazy. It's like a crazy concept. Like it really kind of makes you think, like, I wonder what's going on in their lives. But like at the end of the day, all you can say is like, God, I trust you. God, I trust your journey. I trust the path that I'm on. I trust you're leading me to the places I need to go to. And the truth is, the older I get, the more I'm thankful for all those moments, like the hard moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because genuinely, it's like at the time I didn't realize how strong I was.
It was going to be your training to get stronger. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, and that's another thing. I feel like everything that I've been through has been for a reason, and everything that we will go through is for a reason.
For sure.
And I think it's just a powerful thing to play into what you believe your purpose is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
On that topic, Mike, what do you think your purpose is?
Man, thank God for the healing because now I have a little bit of clarity. I don't know all of it because I know it's going to change as we grow up because as human beings, we're always evolving.
Yeah.
And since we're changing, plans change. Right now, my purpose is to build my family, number one, which is my job is to make sure Jackie's best version is out there. The kid's best version is out there. My best version is out there. And secondly is I want to help other men that have been going through, if they're listening to this and say, hey, I know exactly what it feels like when he said, dreams do not come true. It's possible. Now it's going to take hard work to break free from those things.
Yeah.
But it's possible. So it's to help men, help marriages, and see where God flourishes it from there.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen to that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm extremely thankful for your time.
Yeah.
We're going to do a part 2 on your channel, The Mac Effect.
Yeah,
so make sure if you're watching this, now go to his channel, watch that part 2. But it's just very important for me to ask you, where can people find you?
Oh, yeah. Well, on YouTube and on all podcast platforms, it's going to be under The Mac Effect right here. So when you see that, just go ahead and click the subscribe button. I'm new to all this again, guys. I always tell people, look, I don't know much about it, but subscribe, the like. My wife said, tell them to turned on the notifications. I'm like, thank you for teaching me. But
check.
that's where you're gonna find me, guys, in all those platforms. My Instagram, it's Mike Campos 6. It's so weird for me to share it, but you guys want to follow, go ahead and follow.
There it is. This is Andro Mammo. Thank you for listening and watching another episode of One on One. Bet on you, and I'll see you next week.